Hey geeks, what's going on? My name is Bran and welcome to the Geek XP. Something that I've seen in the wake of all the announcements and reveals that took place during last weekend's E3 event is an interesting polarization in the community about one of the things shown during the Bethesda presentation, the Skyrim Remaster. I've seen some people excited for it, myself included, and others who are in full rage mode over this announcement. Now, I'm not here to chide anyone or to finger wag, I'm just here pointing out an observation I had about a part of the gaming community that I found thought-provoking. Now, it's not totally uncommon to see reactions like this about, well, anything on the internet. But I have to admit, I was surprised at some of the angry comments and posts in response to this game's announcement. I can only speculate as to the reasons for many people's gripes about it, but I imagine many people were looking for the announcement of the next installment in the Elder Scrolls franchise. I'm sure many people feel cheated by Bethesda and think that this remastered special edition is just a money-grubbing ploy by the studio to avoid making a new game. I have no inside source of any kind to any part of the gaming world, but I imagine this is not the case, and that Bethesda is indeed working on the next Elder Scrolls title. But if they haven't announced it yet, I can only imagine it's because the game developers feel that it's not ready to be shown. Once a game is announced and some content revealed, the consumer base is usually ravenous for a release date. And once a studio is pressured into giving a release date, they usually give one that isn't a realistic goal for what the developers want to implement into their game. It's not the fault of any one party, but rather just a flaw in the precedent that we as consumers have helped set for the industry. We want to know when we can have something as soon as possible. Unfortunately, a lot can happen, and go wrong, during the development of a game, and the earlier in a game's development that they announce a release date, the more confined everyone on that team is to finish everything before it may be complete to their standards. Now, no creative, or anyone who makes something for that matter, is ever truly satisfied with a product when they send it off. I can personally attest to this. There's usually always something we could tweak or improve, or another cool functionality that we wanted to implement. However, a game must ship, and I imagine all games are released with at least one person in development saying, I wish we had time for X. That being said, I think history has shown that studios that delay their release for when they are happy with the quality of their product usually come out with a better game. The developers, and we, the consumers, are better for it. Now, you might respond by saying, they could have just announced that they were working on the next game. It's been so long. Despite the fact where I feel that would still put pressure on the studio to announce a premature release date for the game, I must ask, has it been that long? Even though it feels like it's been a long time since Skyrim was released, it really hasn't been if we look at it from a game development standpoint. Expecting a new Elder Scrolls announcement, even one without a release date, doesn't really line up with the game development timeline that we have come to expect from studios like Bethesda. Using Skyrim as an example, Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion was released in March of 2006. Bethesda started full development of Skyrim following the release of Fallout 3 in 2008, and then released that title in November of 2011. This is just over 3 years of full development time, accounting for the fact that a game would have to be finished with some time to spare before it's actually released. With game production's cost ever growing, and to meet the expectations of world exploration, graphical fidelity, and fun and engaging quests and plot lines that the studio must surpass with every iteration of their game, it can be fairly postulated that full development time for the inevitable Elder Scrolls 6 will be even longer than that. Take into account the development of not only the expansions to Skyrim, but also Fallout 4 and Elder Scrolls Online, and we're not really all that close to a reasonable release date for a new Elder Scrolls quite yet. If the team at Bethesda started full development of Elder Scrolls 6 the day after Skyrim was launched, then we could probably have expected to see a game announcement this year or even last year. We've looked at why people might be upset, but after analyzing it, why are we trying to set a precedent that the sooner we get the product, the better? Many people clamor for games to be released with greater frequency. Why? Because we want to play these games. We find enjoyment and fulfillment in the challenges and stories told therein. That's fair, but then what happens when game studios respond by coming out with yearly game titles, usually sequels? The games are buggy and feel unfinished, and the same community berates them for it. This is unfair, and we as a community and consumers can do better. We can't demand for games to come out sooner, expect the cost to be the same, and then be upset when the quality falls off. If we demand more games, then publishers will have their studios pump out more games more frequently at the cost of quality. We still pay $60 per game, but at that point we're not really getting our money's worth. So I believe it is in our best interest to sit back and let studios release games in their own time, and not get so swept up in our want or need to have the game as soon as possible. When we will really savor the experience much more if we allow developers and studios to know that we are willing to wait for the better game. Lastly, I think that a new Elder Scrolls game announcement is on the horizon, and that this remastered edition is a great way for Bethesda to build excitement around the franchise again. A year of people revisiting Skyrim with new shaders and lighting effects will serve as a taste for what's to come, so that we are even more excited when the new game is revealed. My friends and I who have played and still play Skyrim were pretty jazzed about revisiting a new higher fidelities game, so I plan on getting the new version and enjoying questing in Skyrim all over again. I like my mods on my current version of the game, but with mods going offline here and there, having dependency on other mods, and concerns for what my hardware can handle all at once, it will be nice to have a much prettier Skyrim without worrying about the game crashing or my file getting corrupted due to mod shenanigans. The remaster is also nice for fans of the game who can't afford a powerful PC to run it at higher settings or with mods. So overall, I'm excited about the remaster and look forward to the next installment when Bethesda is ready to release it. I'll talk to you again soon, but until next time, stay geeky, my friends.